Hi, welcome to my channel, Glamo. In this video, I'm going to cover a second impression of the Dermacol Make-Up cover in color 218. In a previous video, I tried number 210, which was way too light and pink for me. So I'm going to cross my fingers and hope that this will be a more olive tone that will match my skin tone. And I'm also going to reveal my not so new septum piercing that I've been hiding. So let's get started. I just dispensed a pea-size amount onto my hand, and I'm going to take a damp beauty blender and put that all over my face. I think because I'm using a sponge and using so little, this will probably not be as full coverage, and this is definitely olive. It is too dark for me. I don't think that there are any lighter shades available from the line that's a lighter olive. Typically in these cases, if I really like the foundation, or if I was working out of my pro kit, I would just get the color that is the most olive and just expect to lighten it up with a different foundation. Or what I've been using lately is the 0- by Face Atelier. I don't think I can get away with this. My neck is probably a Face Atelier Ultra Pro number 2 or 3, maybe 3 or 4. Makeup Forever HD in the past formula 117 and 120. So that gives you a sense of how light I am. I'm going to just, ooh. So I just discovered that 218 is too dark for me, but it is a good olive undertone. So I'm going to make the color a little bit lighter using Face Atelier 0-. You know, I'm rubbing it back and forth on my nose is because I really want to get into the crevices and also the pores. I find that just dabbing it is not enough for me. I really gotta get in there. Looking a little heavy around the mouth. I'm not used to this type of full coverage, so I'm going to dampen the beauty blender and just kind of then shear that product out a little bit on my face. So if this wasn't the right color for me, bomb. To provide more coverage in a creamy format in the areas that need attention, such as the hyperpigmentation in my cheeks. Using Eve Pearl Salmon Concealer in light medium, I am going to conceal my under eye. I'm just not used to this full coverage, guys. I feel very, what's the word? It's not cakey, because that's more dry. It's not pasty. I just don't know. As a true test, what I do with most foundations is I run it along my neck, and then I check in the car in natural light. What I'm noticing now is that this product is sitting in my pores, in my nose, and you can see it visibly. I don't really like that. I want to do some highlight today. Never been tried. I'm going to be using Temp2 Pro Airbrush Highlighters on my face. I'm mixing champagne as well as white shimmer. I'm going to start by dropping onto, ooh, 1 drop is enough, white shimmer it is. Taking a dual fiber stippling brush, I'm going to swirl and then lightly tap onto my cheekbone area. Ooh, I like. I have time, so maybe I'll just do some contouring. Let's contour and highlight. I'm gonna take my damp beauty blender into the Senna contour palette and go into the lightest shade to highlight the sides of my nose that tend to have some shadow. And going into this pink shade, I'm going to be highlighting my cheeks and the bridge of my nose. I'm not a huge fan of these highlights because it dries fast and it doesn't leave a nice texture, especially on dehydrated skin. And these colors only work for people who are pretty fair, but anyone with like a tan or in the medium to deeper shades doesn't really work, comes out ashy. I'm gonna take the brush that comes with this kit to contour my face. Dipping into the contour color, First off, I'm gonna do my jawline, marking the cheek, marking the nose, all the contours. The jaw is probably what I need the most in terms of bone structure, but my nose is the favorite. My sister gifted me these cream blushes from H Wood Beauty, and this is in Marigold. It's using the same dual fiber brush that I used to do the highlights on my cheekbones. I'm going to be now applying this cream blush on my cheeks. Because it is kind of a not strongly pigmented color, I'm actually being very generous with the application and area. I'm going to go into my personal palette today. Now I'm going to prime my eyes using MAC Paint Pot and Soft Ochre. I added a little bit of 244 mixer into this to make it a little bit creamier as it dried out in the pot. Using a dense eyeshadow brush, I'm going to put a flesh tone shade all over my eye. I'm taking a cool taupe tone all over my brows on this Garden Botanica lip brush. I'm going to start using taupe and blondes because of my bottle blonde hair now. So I'm using the flat portion of it to kind of create that sharp-ish line. For me, I personally don't usually do harsh lines and super defined lines on my face, so I don't mind that the edge is not, you know, super crisp. I'm not going to carve it out with concealer. It's kind of good that I waited to set the foundation because I'm using a powder, it's kind of sticking to my skin. Taking that same brush, multitasking, I'm going to go up from my lower lash line and trace out the angle that I want. Pretty dramatic, but I'll try it and slay. Take the Sigma eye shading brush in E55. Oh, I feel like Lady Gaga. It's a little high fashion and a little bit much for the dinner I'm going to. I don't want to appear like I'm trying too hard. So, with that, so what I'm going to do is take this plum matte purple color and kind of create a smoky look. So I'm going to keep it small because I don't want it to look overly dramatic. So that's something you can do with smoky eyes, is the smaller it is, the less dramatic it is. If you really want to go for drama, then you can fill out your lid space. And I'm going to take my tapered blending brush from Sigma in E40 and gradiate that out. Looked at myself in the mirror in the bathroom, and that foundation was way too warm for me and dark even still. To flip it very quickly, I took toner and took it off my forehead, around the mouth, and underneath the cheek and underneath my eye, but I kept this area and my jawline. With my Kevyn Aucoin Etherealist, this foundation is light for me, so I think dark and light, it'll kind of all blend together. Going into the cheeks, I'm gonna take I think this is crown brush that I got at the first IMATS I ever went to, and go directly into the shadow. I'm gonna go back with that Sigma brush with whatever product is left on it and just go into the inner and outer corners. Taking that blending brush, gradiating that line so it kind of blends into the rest of the lid. Taking a taupey color, I'm going to go into the socket. I'm going to take another blending brush and then going into that shimmery shadow again, just the shadow itself. I'm going to go, since it is shimmery, it's going to help gradiate out. That's really what shimmer shadows are great for. You can use it as a transitioning product. You don't want to rub it back and forth too much because it starts muddying up the color. Multitasking, going back to that original shading brush and dipping it into that shimmering purple, haloing out the bottom. Haloing out, I don't even know if that's a term, but I'm gonna finish my lips. Bobbi Brown Sandwash Pink. Makeup Forever Highlight. RCMA Loose Setting Powder. Use my finger and put it in the center of my lid. I'm gonna take the Jane Iredale spray to set. It smells so good. It's better than the Mario Badescu. Vivian Betchwood is out to play. I flipped out my septum so I can debut it because no one's seen it. And I put in some earrings and I'm gonna put on my jacket and head out the door for my friend's birthday. Happy birthday, Alex. Okay, bye.